And good evening. Gary Brodsky Show, brought to you by Gary Brodsky. And it's going to be an interesting and fun one as we discuss the occult. No questions yet. I know this thing is beat me like crazy, but let me just get started here. My usual setup: cigarettes and a soda. Okay, just setting up here. Come on in and see you guys popping on. It's going to be great. Get your friends on now while I'm drinking the soda. Do yourself a favor. All right, let's talk about the occult. Let's get serious. The occult is, well, of course, you know the word occult means hidden. It's not that hidden. It's hidden only in plain sight. And where is it hidden? Every government is into the occult. Well, let's take a look at that statement. The last few presidential candidates from the Skull and Bones Society, okay? You think of Skull and Bones, you can't really think these guys like really, mainstream religion. No, these little secret societies that make up this whole country, the guys and women who own everything, all occultists. Every great power person, occultist. Just Google occult and celebrities, occult and the wealthy, occult and governments. And you'll see this world is being run by not only occultists I could deal with. Satanists are another story, and that you see the evidence everywhere. I know what you're saying. Well, I don't believe in Satan. That's okay. But they do. That's the problem. They do. Now, I say not to believe in Satan is to say, wow, look at all these buildings, but I don't believe in construction workers. You can see the work everywhere. Now, it gets deeper than that. If you go on the satanic side of the occult, and there's many sides, but the satanic side, the big thing is gender neutrality or gender crossing. That is why, and if you want, got my phone right here. Let me know what major actor has not worn women's clothing. Stallone has, Schwarzenegger has, Robin Williams has. It's part of satanic rites and rituals. Okay, Tony Curtis, you go down the line, very few actors haven't. Now, to get even further, at one time during the era of rock music being one of the largest businesses on the planet, and you can just Google John Todd, there were altar rooms under every major record label where they would take the master, and on a full moon they would do a ritual, because rock music, believe it or not, has a lot of satanic messages. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. You've heard if you play this backwards, and it's true, you play it backwards, you get this sound. If you play it backwards, you hear, I am Satan calling, or whatever. You've heard about that. Well, do you know there is nothing on earth today, no technology that could do that? They don't know how that even gets done. Kind of just an interesting thought there. So if you think most of the world being run by satanic nuts has not corrupted every institution, because that's what they do, every religion, they do that they haven't infiltrated everything, you have been asleep, my friends. You have been asleep. Now, you may say, but hey, Gary, you practice the occult. Yeah, it's called protection from what are these occult movies show? The scary movies. Becoming a zombie. I don't want to do that. No, I'll protect myself from that. I don't want to be a zombie. Look at all the Manson girls. They were sort of like zombies. They went out and did it. Why? They don't know. So I protect myself. The occult is not the Satanistic occult. I will not deal with that. There are other occult practices that do work to protect yourself. So just wanted to get you guys and ladies to know that the people on top are some of the cruelest people. Now I'll get even deeper into it. All of the super wealthy people who've gotten there by, not all of them have, but I know a lot who haven't. There's other occult powers that they do use, fact, but who've got there through satanic powers. All are involved in population control and basically killing children, an offering to their satanic gods, Moloch, etc., the Babylonian gods, Dagon. It gets confusing, but basically, the occult is everywhere. The Statue of Liberty, by the way, is a transvestite. That is a fact. But those in a second. Do you know it was offered to Egypt first? Most people don't know that. That's what I spent my time doing research. And Egypt said, we're not going to put some transvestite in here. We're really, actually religious people. America, hey, sure, send her over. And on top of the Capitol building is a statue of Samarius, pagan gods. So just, bringing some things to light. Now let me get to these questions here. Is it required to put a small glass of rum next to a shoe? It's not required, it just adds more power. It's a good thing to do. Mine needs some rum, by the way, so thanks for reminding me. What brand do I recommend? Okay, it's a spiritual entity. It's a protection device. And by the way, the pocket of shoes and the other shoes are on sale at occultforce.com. You got to know that, okay? Doesn't matter what brand. It's not like a date. It doesn't care. It's like hammering the nail in. It doesn't care what brand hammer it is. Okay, Jason in the house. Okay, hey Gary, Jason here. Yes, sir, I do. Now, okay, he brought up rituals to mention some stuff about that. If you, again, look up any celebrities, any super millionaires, and the occult, they all have rituals done for them. There's always been psychics and ritual doers in the White House. Now, for example, Ronald Reagan would not deal with the dark powers. He dealt with the powers that are beneficial. There are energies out there. A lot of people have made energies into deifications, into images, into people, into statues. Nonetheless, it's still energy. But I stay away from the satanic stuff, because you get a lot in this life. And I'll tell you a story about Robert Johnson after this question. Hey Gary, great show. I didn't even start yet. Okay, take care of this right away. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, we had 2 days of the automatic transponder not working. How they are actually being worked on tonight is talking about the occult. It's a full moon tonight. It's the Halloween full moon. That is the time when everything that's going to be a hit in the music industry used to be worked on, and it worked. And that's the time when anything can become stronger. And you wish it's anything, it's stronger. People bleed more during the full moon. There's a lot of stuff they just don't tell you. They just don't. And it's very possible to work with other powers to get what you want. Now, Robert Johnson is an interesting story. You can Google all this stuff, because I do a hell of a lot of research. I didn't do it when I was in school, but I'll do it now. Robert Johnson could not play guitar, and he could not sing. And rock music is the biggest satanic thing. I'll get that in a moment. He actually went out, decided, I'm going to sell my soul to the devil to become a great musician. He did. He came back, and people were amazed. He could not sing before nor play guitar. Great guitarist, great singer, and then he died. And numerology plays into this, all this stuff. Benth, I would say, is better, and MK17 always works. That is what are your views on Charles Manson? Sorry, I recently with a bunch of interviews, and one of the weird things. Okay, Charles Manson claimed, as you know, he was Jesus and he was Satan at the same time. Busy guy. Okay, everything else aside, I don't know whether he did it or not. I wasn't there. But the prosecutor, Vince Bugliosi, and this is in all the movies on Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter is one of the movies. There's 2 movies made called Helter Skelter. In both movies, he goes like this. Charles Manson gives one of those looks, and he goes, "My watch stopped." Now, to this day, he can't get a watch that works. Now, I could tell you how to channel this kind of power, just not here, okay? And not at this time. Now, after the trial, Charles Manson came to the prosecutor and said, "You know something? You have given me a very fair trial. And for that, I am giving you success in everything you do, and health." He says, "Okay, this guy's nuts. Get him out of the courtroom." Every book that Vince Pugliosi has written has become a bestseller, and he has never been sick a day in his life, and has not found a watch that could work. So, yes, you can channel power. Is it satanic power? I don't think so. Anybody can channel that kind of power. That's why the media tries to make a mockery out of the occult, so that you stay away from it. And if you go to any of the lodges, those secret lodges that run the world, they're doing it. And I'm taking a soda break. Here's some more scary music. Keep the mood up. Questions are here. How long does it take to do a ritual? Some of them take a few days, usually 7 to 10 days, but they work. Now, there's a guy named Len who occasionally has been on some of the webinars, and I should have some specials coming up soon on that. He claims that the rituals that I did for him helped him become a billionaire. Now you may say, yeah, that was easy. He was rich. No, when he called, he was in debt for $40 million. Now he's worth over $3 billion personally. Not bad. Is it coincidence? There are people out there watching, I know who you are, who've seen people healed by what they would call magic. Magic is not really magic. It's just knowing what to do. And you know what's really weird is before any of the pickup stuff, I grew up, my family, I guess, was on the Cajun side, very into the occult. They had people coming over from India. Steve Allen, you all know the story about that. He came to them. He was an unhealthy kid, and my aunt, Cajun aunt, did a ritual. Her price was when he has his own talk show. And talking about he was like a 15-year-old kid that could barely function. He's going to have me on the show to wash his hair in front of the world. She did not use any dark magic. If she wanted to take revenge, she had a shotgun. Okay, she looked crazy, but her stuff worked. Wow. Are you familiar with Paul Helm and his work? He started a new term due to today's society and radical feminism. There are 4 categories in male society. They are alpha males, all right. Beta males, oh, that sucks. Omega males, and finally zeta males. I gotta check that out. Have you ever heard of Man P. Hall? And how powerful was his magic, and what kind was it? Man P. Hall, I have heard of, I have studied, and it was extremely powerful. It was not really magic. Again, we use the word magic for working with energy. And yes, I am very familiar with his work, and in fact, I'm reading a few of his books now that I just got. That's kind of weird, because that question, I just got some books this week on that guy. And yes, he explains a lot of occultism, how it's hidden in the Bible, how to, very good read for anybody. Manly P. Hall. And they bury him on YouTube. So that's a stretch to find him anywhere. And I'm glad somebody out there has a brain to do some research. Not that it's, I'm not putting anybody down. It's just hard to find. Why do you think the media and the world makes the men weaker and worse ever? And why do you think the media and the world makes men weak? Okay, got it twice. Because their whole thing is degeneration. You ever see Baphomet, the statue of what they say Satan looks like? Transvestite yeah, my English is great. Titties, and has a male body and female features, and that's what they want to do to men. They don't want alpha males. From the last guy, they do not want alpha males. That scares them. Now, the powers or the things that I work with, eschew all male energy. Okay? There's no transgenderization in what's called Kimbanda. They've used it, but it's not satanic. And I always say the difference between using satanic magic and occult magic is, it's like, okay, satanic magic is like borrowing from the worst crazy psycho loan shark. You'll get the money, but you're going to have a life where you're going to have to do what he wants, because he's going to kick your ass every day. No matter how much you pay him, you're going to owe more. Occult magic is like borrowing from a friendly father who goes, yeah, whatever you can, pay me back. You don't forget about it. I got my rum. I got some candles. We're good. That's the difference. You get the same result, but not the same nightmare. John, good evening. What can I use to make the ritual better than using just a red candle to attract women? Very simple. You take the red candle. I don't have one. I do have back there, but I'm not going to get them. As you can see them on the shelf over there. Okay, red candles. And you carve her name in it. 5 times or 7 times. Carve her name horizontally, and then carve your name over it vertically. Now, it doesn't have to be readable. You just carve it in the wax. You can use a pen, you can use a pencil, you can use a knife. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you carve it in there. And throw some oil on there. There's a whole bunch of ways. Put a plate of honey next to it that you taste first. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. You're dealing with Orisha power, and Orisha power is very easy to handle, but it's like one mistake. It's like driving. It's fine. Until I hit the tree. That was good, you know. But think of how they're programming everybody. That's the reason I say the occult is programming. The evil occult, okay? It's hard to define. It's like the occult, it's like saying energy. There's evil energy, there's good energy. No, it's how it's used. They're turning people into zombies. They're having a great time with it. They're laughing their asses off about this. And occult is not only with candles and in dark rooms and in secret places. Get that in a second. It's in the football games. Football's destroyed more families than anything I think of. I know. Women call me up, I can't stand it. My husband watches football. What should I do? I don't know what to do. But, you know, the Romans came up with a weapon called bread and circuses. It's like, how do we rob the people everything they have? We have swords. Nah, they'll know about that. They'll come after us. They'll revolt. Okay, we could tax the crap out of them. No, get a revolt there. Why don't we just use games? Get them obsessed with games. That works. Bread and circus was a weapon used by most of the Caesars. Some of the Caesars, like some of the presidents, said, hey, I'm not doing this shit. Augustus Caesar said, no games. Marcus Aurelius said, no games. Caligula, games everywhere. Then you kill people, always going to ask questions. Why? Football's on tonight. Just bring it to the future. Hey, Junius. Wow, these questions are just flying in tonight. Yes, I know about that, Junius. I'll hit you back with an email so you know where it is. Do I write a full name on the candle? No. And I'll tell you an interesting story about the full name. I have used, and I don't anymore because it's too easy, occult rituals to get women because I know how to do it. And there was one girl I liked, and I wrote the waitress from this restaurant. Just the waitress, and that's the name of the restaurant. I got her. I didn't know her name. Spirits, which are energy, know who you're talking about. They're not bureaucrats. Like, you got the name spelled wrong, you're going to have to resubmit it. No, it doesn't matter how you spell the name wrong. If you got the birthday wrong, even if you got her name wrong, the spirits know your intent. And if you want to know where a spirit is, well, there's one living inside your body right now. And it's susceptible to all sorts of energy. What positive effects can a woman get from drinking gold, silver, copper? Hey, Alex, it's happening right now. Okay, let me just tell you the effect. Much better mind, better body, better spirit, better soul. Gold was used by the ancients in a good way. That's why they had everybody collecting. That's why it became universal cash. It was cash in the Orient before Orient knew about Europe. It was cash in Europe. It was cash in the Middle East. It was cash in South America. Why? So people always had gold handy. Now, Moses was the first one to take gold and said, I will grind it down and you will drink of gold instead of wearing it, and you will see God. Now gold is out of the soil and people's connection with God is lost. That is why I keep pushing the gold products, and you got to have them. It does do that. And speaking about that, you don't really have to shake it up, just, you know, so you, no, I'm being funny here. And more questions, tons more questions. Aleister Crowley, interesting. Very powerful satanic magic. And you'll notice he appears in a lot of the rock music covers. There's songs about him. And, you know, yeah, rock and roll does have a lot of satanic statements. You name the song, I can show the satanic statements. And rock and roll is done, I think, 12 alltones per minute. There's actually a formula and a word formula for rock music. I used to write, just Google Gary Brodsky lyrics. I used to write rock music, okay? Hey, I needed the money. Anyway, what rock music does is you get a song going off in your head 30 years after you heard the song. You don't go, wow, I got a symphony going off in my head. No, it never happens. But rock music does. And that's why, you know, the gold, silver, and the copper sort of redress the DNA and gets it out of your system. Because, you know, every rock song has, you know, everything has a satanic message in it. That's what it was created to do. And if you want to, it's the guy who mentioned the research before, check out the Travis Scott Institute. And you'll realize that the Beatles and a lot of the rock musics and musicians were made to order by satanic societies in England and sent here to rip the fabric of America. So it is everywhere. And that's why I use occult stuff. If they're using it, I'm using it. It's like, if they want to fight with, hands, fine, I'll fight back with hands. They want knives, I want knives. Equal firepower. The representation of the color gold in the occult is actually true love, marriage, and wealth. And I've got to have some soda. How to play that? How to play that? Okay. Now, let me just say one other thing. I forgot to light my cigarette. There are a few guys out there saying, I've been trying to reach you lately, but I couldn't. A lot of the reason was it wasn't here. And I'm also doing rituals for people. Now, what's funny, the rich people who are a little upset they can't reach me, they're all millionaires, okay? Because I've done occult magic for them. So understand, other guys need this too. And sometimes when I do my occult work, I disconnect every phone. I turn off the cell phone, and it does work. I know a lot of witnesses are watching this to some of my work. Can I get a plug here? Okay, thanks. Okay, got a question here. Well, I got about 15 questions here. When doing the brown paper bag ritual, do you write your name first or hers? Oh, call me after the show. I'll run the whole thing down with you. I like this. This Juniors? Oh, yeah. He brought them forth with silver and gold. Psalms 105:37. It's all over the place. Why does mostly all the powerful stuff come from England? That's a whole show unto itself. England has in their headquarters the Club of Rome, the Black Nobility, and all these secret societies that came here. The stuff that America tried to get away from. And actually, all these Scottish rites and the British rites and all that other stuff, all come from England. Freemasons. My old pal Jim, what kind of occult stuff did the Three Stooges use? Only Jim would ask that. They use a lot of hammers. One of the most intelligent men I know, one of the nicest guys I know, with the silliest question I've ever heard, but he loves the Three Stooges, and actually the Three Stooges did not use a cult, which is why, for a lot of reasons, they never made any money. The Halloween season, actually Halloween is, and this is kind of interesting, was originally a witch's Sabbath. Now, what's really funny, if you check this out, the 25th of the month is a sacrificial day. Look at how many celebrities died on the 25th. You'll be amazed. And 27 is a sacrificial number. Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all died at age 27. A lot more than that, too. All right, David. Smart move. So, It's everywhere. Every possible place. Look how many people come out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he's the president. What did he do before? I don't know. But he's the president now. The Beatles, yeah, they didn't know they were being used. John Lennon found out, shot. John Kennedy found out, hey, this is a cult society, shot. Ronald Reagan, I'm going to oppose them, shot. McKinley, this stuff is not right, shot. Lincoln, you know something? I really have fallen in love with the Constitution of the United States. I'm going to follow it to the letter. Before that, he was really off the charts. He suspended posse comitatus and everything else. The day he declared, I am going to go exactly by the Constitution, yeah, he was shot. And what's really interesting is when people say, you know, there's so many similarities between the Lincoln Kennedy assassination. That's true. But I'm not going to list the whole similarities here. Do you know why they're so similar? Because the same guys who are running things do the same exact things. History doesn't change. First of all, America, the United States of America, it's a corporation. Now, Ronald Reagan said this. It's a corporation with stockholders and a board of directors, of which the United States and the people in America don't own one single share. He was shot soon after that. Fortunately, he lived. Held them off for a while. And most people don't want to believe this. It's too much for most people to take. But nonetheless, it's there. So we get to these questions now. What do you think about the election with Obama and Mitt Romney? Okay, birth certificates and everything else aside, just look up anybody in the occult. Big in Brzezinski, big in the occult, he put Obama in there. Mitt Romney, I don't know. But I know one thing. As I'm saying before, America is a corporation. You can change who the president of the corporation is, but you're not going to change the direction of the corporation. And that direction is just not good. It is just not good. But you can protect yourself and free yourself. And I do recommend a Bible for everybody and knowing how to read it. Because the Bible, once it becomes about control, it's the same thing as the other side. And this is a very important message here that I'd like to get out. Stop the music for a second. Maestro? Well, this question may be good. So I just stop the, I'm going to get this. Oh, that's a good question. I like it, Jason. Thank you. Jason here, why are all these gay idiot gurus out there still trying to sell their crap and they all have the same gay whiny voice? It's exactly true. You can't tell one from the other. Why? Degenderization. They are all on the mainstream. I will not be on the mainstream. Hollywood is the most satanic place on the planet. I can get into details about that. As I said before, they make everybody, you know, wear women's clothing and dress like women and act like women and do unspeakable acts, which I won't even talk about here. But I want to get to the two important things about the Bible, because that's my favorite book. And I just want to take a quick break here. But I have the scary music on, so I'm taking a break. Wow, what the heck, with the scary music. And now, you remember this quote from the Bible? I'm sure you do. You cannot worship God and mammon. Mammon means anything that a person can give you. You cannot worship. So when you go to church and you pray for money, temple, mosque, it doesn't matter. You're asking for something that you could ask a bank for, a friend for, you could panhandle on the street. You're not going to get it. People are in church every day or in the houses of worship, respectively, asking for stuff that doesn't work with him. You have to ask for joy, because man can't provide that for you. Better life, direction. Not money. You know, hey, God, I need some money. Oh, yeah, fill out this application. It doesn't work like that. The person who created the spirit, the being, whatever created the universe, does not write checks. Now, talking about writing checks, that is a sick form of power. Okay? It's money. Again, money is, take the Ten Commandments. I am the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, think about that for a second. What does that mean? It means that God himself is saying there are other gods. Just don't have them in front of me. I'm the main one, but he acknowledges the existence of other gods and other powers. As long as he's first, he can work with the other ones. Once the Bible becomes a control thing, and I have a guy who probably watching the show right now, he always tells me, Jesus wouldn't like the website here. And he's in the hedge fund business, the only business the money changes, that God forbid, literally, God forbid that business and curse that business. He's in that business and he's telling me what to do. See, when people become control freaks, I'm not a control freak, I'm a freedom freak. What I sell is all to free people up, not to be caught in the miseries of, again, justifying themselves by a paycheck. It's like, guys, well, I'm an attorney for a very large firm and I make $277,000 a month. Really? If I gave you $577,000 a month, you'd walk backwards. So, there we are. And for Jim, well, there you have it. All right. To protect yourself, and again, from the occult stuff, you gotta be aware of it. People have been killed by deer, by donkeys. Somebody was killed out here in the state by a monkey, actually a chimpanzee in Connecticut. You got to be aware of the power this stuff has, because it's been used since day one. Egypt, an entire society worshiping Ra, Isis, Osiris. Always the triune gods. Watch out for them. And this may offend people, but it is a fact. The first 5 books of the Bible. This is not a cult, just a fact. The Torah comes from the Egyptian religion, Thoth, and the word Ra for God. The religion of God. Doesn't mean it's bad, that's what it means. Now, have you noticed religious Jewish people wear a yarmulke? Okay? And the Pope and the cardinals wear yarmulkes. Do anybody know why that is? Just let me know, because I'll tell you anyway. I just want to see if anybody knows why that is. People of all religions watch this show, all races, I never knew what creed was, but all the creeds. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, I'll wait a few more seconds, because I don't think most people know. Okay, the reason is very simple. I forgot which Roman emperor, I don't have my notes in front of me, said, if you're going to worship, you're going to have to bow to me. And they said, well, our religion forbids bowing to a person. Okay, you're going to wear these hats then. So they're still wearing the hats based on reference to a holy Caesar who thought himself divine. They all did. That's long gone. Because you can read the Bible, it says nothing about headwear in there at all. I am a believer in the Bible and what Jesus teaches. What do you think of my favorite verse, Luke? I am a very big believer in the Bible too, and I think Luke was one of the best. They're all good. Not too many people read Amos, though. Gary, days again. Of course it could work on dirt roads. The egg ritual, okay, which is on the Occult 3D CD set at GaryBrodsky.com and OccultForce.com, your choice, existed way before paving, way before any standing religion. So, yeah, they don't have to be paved roads. So, yeah, I'd like to do it here, but, they're putting a sewer system in. Okay. Actually, Junior's brought up something really interesting. Where people like Al Capone and Lucky Luciano, victims of the New World Order. Of course. See, the New World Order works like this. They make you buy stuff you don't need. They make you pay for stuff you don't want. The mob never made anybody pay for anything they didn't want. What they have? Gambling. People love gambling. Labor unions. Loan sharking. You know, the government and the mob, you know, it's a mob mentality. It's tribal mentality still we're locked into. How do I get rid of my fear of getting old? That's a kind of funny question. If you fear it, you'll get old faster. Now that's metaphysics. That's a whole other ball game. But the more you fear it, the more you're going to age yourself. What ages people? Fear and aggravation. And let me talk about getting old. No one gets out of it, okay? As my friend Jim would say, take it day by day. And here he is right now. Creed. Any system, doctrine, I have to read his voice, or formula of religious belief as about the denomination. Thank you, Jim, for 1,200 pages of... okay, here's a verse from Stavros. If anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such a person cannot be my disciple. What do you think about this? Well, I can go into some deep stuff, but if you're ever in a real relationship, there is love and there is hate all the time. Oh, she's the best. I want her. No, I can't take it. That is a real relationship, because if you're getting that close, you're going to feel pain and you're going to feel resentment. And, you know, it's just like when somebody dies. You know, we had so many unresolved issues. And I never heard of any relationship where people, well, all my issues are now resolved, so go ahead and die. It's just, the world is strange. I point out some of the strangest stuff. And Jim, I really appreciate you watching the show, because Jim has been my friend. He's the oldest friend I have, and one of the closest, even though we never see each other, because that's the way things are. He'll be here. But, yeah, wow, this is flying by here tonight. And I have no more soda. So I'm going to take a quick break, think of some questions, send them in. If you don't know how, just send an email to GaryBrodsky123@AOL.com. That should do it. Or info@GaryBrodsky.com. And I am going to show how to throw a curse on somebody. Because if the Illuminati know how to do it, and they use it, and the New World Order knows how to do it, and they use it, you should be able to know how to do it too. Nobody should have a monopoly on force. I'm not going to throw a curse at the screen. I'm going to throw it that way. I got to get to this first. This is so true. And this is from Jason, by the way. Gary, the Bible tells in clear detail that there are other gods and deities. And 10 years ago, you could talk about God. Now you talk about him or the Bible, you end up in court. I know about that. Thanks, Jason. You know what's weird? You end up in court for saying stuff that's pro-God, and they want you to swear it on the Bible. And I said that's how I got in trouble in the first place. Fortunately, the case was dropped, but the atheists are another thing, another branch. I don't even know where they stand and how they got so big. Yeah, this is not the phone. But how to throw a curse. Now, you ever see them do this, the horns of the devil? You point at somebody with evil intent. That's why I'm pointing out the window. You'll see they'll start to screw up. They won't be the same. Because they do it all the time when they're talking. They throw that hand symbol. Now, if it happens by accident, it's an accident. When you have evil intent and you do that to somebody, don't take my word for it. Find somebody who's done you wrong and do it. It works. That's nothing compared to what's on the Occult Powers at GaryBrodsky.com and OccultForce.com. So any other questions? Because this is moving too fast. I'm just watching numbers go up. Lots of people are watching. So hope we're covering a lot of stuff here. But again, it's everywhere. It's in the movies, and you know, I could do a whole special on rock music. And of course everybody likes it. And of course I listen to it all the time. But there are messages in all of them. Listen to the words. Not the early stuff. When it started becoming super big. They say Jerry Lee Lewis was into the occult. I don't know. But if you look up rock musicians in the occult, the list is endless. Now, there's good occult and bad occult. I don't do the bad stuff. Because the price I'm going to pay is not going to be in this life. And believe me, you will pay. Because everybody who's done any satanic work, when they're dying or sick, all of a sudden, they have to repent. Hey Gary, I'm a big fan, but I've always wondered, do you have any children? Many. Can you talk about the King Solomon seals? Yes, they're very effective if you know how to use them. And if you don't, you are going to get yourself in so much trouble. That's why he was the richest man in the world. He knew how to use them. Which are a lot of the symbolism, okay, that five-pointed star, talking about occultism and government. Well, you know, the pentagram. Oh my God, the pentagram. Well, where do you see it? Well, hey, maybe on the American flag. Flags of a lot of countries. The star, it's everywhere. You look up at the sky, see stars. They don't look like that. Hey, Mwinga, how have you been? Hey, Gary, you're looking bigger and more powerful. You must be hitting the gym. And at DHEA, absolutely am. Anyhow, maybe you can answer this. Why are most men afraid to look other men in the eyes? Don't they understand it's hard to trust a business with someone who you can't look at the eyes? I address that in every one of my audio programs at, again, GaryBrodsky.com. And people still don't do it. You have eye contact, you have the world. You have a smile, you got the world and everything in it. That's really all you need. A lot of guys shake hands like this. Good to meet you. I don't know what's happened. People are afraid of themselves. They feel insecure. And that's what TV does. That's what the whole industry of Hollywood is to make you feel like, I can't be like that guy. I can't get what that guy has. You know, it's just made to make you feel insecure. Totally. More questions. Yes. But everybody has tremendous power within themselves. And that's what the whole goal of Hollywood is, and music, is to make you feel like you're powerless and helpless. And you're not. Not all the time. Let's foul here. Max. Gary, why do you plan to live forever? Oh, that's just one of my jokes. I plan to live forever. So far, so good. Somebody asked me, I read this all the time on Facebook, everybody's favorite post. Live every day as though it was your last. So I'm trying to think, what would I do if it was my last day? Maybe I'll buy everything. No, I'll never be here by the time it arrives. How do you live every day if it's your last? I guess you go to death row and, hey, how you doing today? But it's like, you owe us $2 million. Sorry, I was living every day like it was my last. Just, kind of funny that, people repeat the same things. And it is because of all the Satanists and secret societies. We have the same wars. The war for freedom is going to keep on going because people don't know exactly what the hell freedom even is. It's spiritual. It's not physical. Yeah, there is a physical aspect to it, but it's all about control. And that's why, it's insane. Everything is about control. I go to the bank to cash a check. And they said to me, do you have proof of birth? I said, the fact that I'm standing here should be enough proof. Apparently it wasn't. Okay. What are the dangers of giving women too much love? No danger at all. The only danger is not giving love. Because you give love, you get love. That's a fair exchange. David. Yo, Reverend Gary. I got it. Thank you. Tomorrow? Yes. Wow. I really appreciate this. I'm not going to read this out loud. It's way too kind, but thank you. Here's a good question. How do you rid yourself of people who are trying to hold you in nowhere going into business? You got to dump negative energy, which counts a lot of people. You got to dump negative people because they carry negative energy. I know negative people that I dump. I can send them into the most successful corporation, and in 3 weeks you'll see grand opening, grand closing. That's negative energy comes in many forms. That's why the issue blocks it. The people may be annoying, but the energy isn't going to be destroying. Hey, poem, all right? Mawinga. Most men think they have their women, but they don't. I'm sure you notice this in restaurants when you go out. The girl looks at you dead in the eyes. That look says, save me from my nightmare. Oh, all the time. And most guys have no idea if this girl is communicating with you as he thinks he's doing great. Well, guys don't know how to date anymore. That's what GaryBrodsky.com is there all about. Guys are afraid to pick up women. I'll just say this about MK17. I put it on Friday night. Literally, I felt like I was being raped and mugged by women who I never met before. I was going to write an article about that, but I figured, what the heck? I'll just talk about it. It was incredible. I never got my workout done because they literally would not leave me alone. And I like the game. So I only use it on special occasions. Just testing it again. And it always works. Do cats play a role in the occult? Yes, but that's the type of occult I don't deal in, the satanic side. So I don't know what role they play. I know how to protect yourself from the magic. I just don't know how to do it. Yes, question. Here, the hands, when people hold them up in the shape of the pyramid, is that also a New World Order sign? Absolutely. Not New World Order, you got to remember, it's all Satan worshiping. And I'll show you some of the signs. Okay? Outside of 2 horns, because I don't want... This is a New World Order sign. Anybody know what this looks like? 3 sixes. This New World Order sign, the pyramids. People are worshiping Egypt more than they even know. And this, that's a Brooklyn sign. Okay? There are some universal signs that are not called. But yeah, this originally is 666. Look, it makes like 3 sixes. So people do this, they don't know. And they just love to watch you do it. And the big thing, I'm just going to wrap it up with this, with a little background music, is to zombify you and degenerize you. That is why GaryBrodsky.com exists, and that's why every audio program on there is essential. Just letting you know that. All right, last and final call for questions. Last and final call for questions, because this show can go on indefinitely. Well, just again, Google celebrities in the occult, the super wealthy in the occult. It doesn't have to be done the bad way. It can be done the good way. And that's why go to occultforce.com. Check that out. Before we all become slaves. And the best kind of slaves are slaves who do not know they're slaves. So, last and final call for questions. I guess, okay, this just wraps up the show. I appreciate everybody being here. The show was great, in my opinion. And it'll be up on YouTube in about, well, by the time you see this, it'll be up on YouTube. Thank you all for being here, and may God bless you.